Pike County Fiscal Court called to order. Madam Clerk, have a roll call. The members, please.
Judge Rutherford.
Present.
Magistrate Anderson. Here. Magistrate Johnson is absent. Magistrate Murphy.
Here.
Magistrate Robinson.
Here.
Magistrate Dotson. Magistrate Dotson.
Here.
Magistrate Harris.
Here.
We have a quorum. We'll now have Pledge of Allegiance led by Magistrate Murphy, a veteran.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have in your packet a copy of the minutes of August 1, 2014 meeting. Jeannie and I have reviewed them, found them to be correct. If you don't have any additions or corrections, I'll have a motion, please. Have a motion, Magistrate Murphy, second Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yep. We have two former employees who have passed since our last meeting, and that's Jackie Denver Varney, former road foreman of District 5. And I think, Dan, you have a little bit on Jackie Denver. Known Jackie Denver for a lot of years and his family. And it'll be a great loss for them, of course, a great loss for the county. Hillman, I think he had some health problems over the year, and he had to retire early, really, because of his declining health. Also, Kenneth Wayne Compton II, who was an executive assistant to Judge Harris, and most people, I think everybody on this court knew Wayne Compton II as he went by, but he passed away very young at age 50, and he had MS and he had several other diseases. Most of us know his mother, certainly, and the family, and knew his dad, Kenneth, who was in the coal business, John Doug, if you remember Kenneth Compton. And he had coal trucks and KC Trucking, if I remember. And, that'll be a great loss for the family and great loss to the county. Any magistrate have any comment on those two? If not, we'll go to the county attorneys. I think the second reading on Benner's Lane. Next on the agenda. Do you have that, Mr. County Attorney?
I have that, Judge. Actually, we have second reading on a number of, 4 in number of roads. If with your permission, I'll take up Benner's Lane, and then we can act on that one, and I'll proceed right on through the other 3.
Do that, please.
This is a notice of passage. I'll read it just in summary form. It's to take a road into the county road system, that the following road being public in nature, be and is hereby formally and officially accepted into the Pike County road system, and shall hereafter be a part of said system. It's a road in District 1. The road name is Venters Lane. It's 0.7 of a mile or 525 feet. This had its first reading on the first day of August 2014. This is a second reading. It'll require a motion and a majority vote.
Motion.
You want to, Magistrate Anderson?
Motion. You can do them.
Have motion, Magistrate Anderson. Have a second. Have a second from Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Yes. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Mr. County Attorney.
This is notice of a passage of a road in District Number 3, road name Lee Drive, length 125 feet. This road is public in nature and should be formally and officially accepted in the Pike County Road System and hereafter be a part of said system. This had its first reading on first day of August 2014. This is the second reading. Require a motion and majority vote.
Got a motion, Magistrate Murphy, to have a second. Magistrate Anderson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Yes. Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Next one, Judge, is also notice of a passage, the following road being public in nature, being hereby, and it is hereby formally and officially accepted in the Pike County Road System and shall after be a part of said system. It's in District Number 1. Road name is Bear Fork. It's 800 feet in length. It had its first reading on the first day of August 2014. Judge, that is the notice of passage in summary form. Require a motion and majority vote.
Motion.
And all three that you had?
You have a
You need a
motion,
motion now
had a
on-
motion by Magistrate Anderson and a second by Magistrate Murphy, I believe.
Need a motion on any of those?
Go ahead, and you've got a motion on this road that I just read in summary form, Judge, and a second, and you need now to have a vote on that.
Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Yes. Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Judge, the last one is notice of passage. I'll read it in summary form, that the following road being public in nature, it is hereby formally and officially accepted into the Pike County Road System and shall hereafter be a part of said system. It's a road in District 1, road name Laura Lane. Its length is 500 feet. It had its first reading on the first day of August 2014. It'll require a motion, second, and majority vote, Judge.
Motion.
Motion, Magistrate Anderson, have a second. Magistrate Robinson, Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Yes. Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Judge, I don't know where it is on the agenda, but while I have the open mic, if we could take up one other road matter, would
Go
fit
right
in
ahead.
here. It relates to removing a portion of Venner's Lane from the county road system and accompanies the passage of the acceptance of a part of Venner's Lane into the road system. So I had brought this up with the court at its meeting on August the 1st, 2014. And to refresh the court's memory, a road had been constructed behind Walters Toyota, which connected to, I believe, what we know as Kelsey Friend Boulevard, the airport road, and back into the old Venner's Lane. That was done at no cost to the county. Pursuant to law, Judge, we duly advertised the closing of a portion of that road, which had been made at the request of Walters Land Inc. Number 3, who owns the land over which it goes, and that was duly advertised. A public hearing was held this morning prior to this court meeting at 9:30. No one appeared to object. We had no written objection to a closure of that road. Commissioner Hatcher and Jimmy Kaiser, 2 viewers, duly reported. I think Commissioner Hatcher recommends the closing as petitioned by Walters Land Inc. on the basis of safety, Judge, and I would recommend that the court, by motion, second, majority vote, order the closing of that road.
Motion.
Magistrate Anderson, have a second. Second, Magistrate Murphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Yes. Magistrate Dodson? Yes. Magistrate Harris?
Yes. Hey, got it. Thank you.
Yes.
We got it.
That's
Got it. Got a fist bump.
We have a request from the state, John Doug, of Mr. County Attorney. Since we're on the road, we'll go ahead and take this one up. Jeannie provided to us this morning and gave us all a copy. We need a resolution, and you have a copy, Mr. County Attorney, of the resolution that under revised statute, under their guidelines, they require pass so we can access $507,926 for resurfacing and patching, and we certainly need it with the bad winter that we had, and we need access to those funds. So that, Mr. County Attorney, if you would look at the resolution that's been presented by that department and give us your recommendation, and then the motion, of course, would authorize the county judge executive to sign all documents.
Judge, I've looked at this resolution. It's the same resolution we pass every year, and if I were to say there's a problem with it right now, probably about 5 people would come and kill me, but it's in proper form, and we need to go ahead and pass that so we can get our money.
Motion. I'll make a motion, Judge. We approve the
A
resolution.
motion by Magistrate Anderson, second by Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Ruthie?
Yes.
And this is for the 2013 flex money, is that right? 13 and 14?
Balance of 13 and 14.
Okay, so it was left over from 13, and
Boy, it's been a long time coming, ain't Leo?
It's been a long time coming, and let me state.
And please remember that if you spend over the amount allotted for that road, it comes out of your road account.
Now, let me further state that that's rural secondary program, and the state has to approve those roads, and they are a listing of the roads. Our road commissioners, the magistrates, and their foremen have worked to put this together, and that's available in my office. If anybody wants to review it, they can come by and review it or get a copy of it. It is a public record.
Frank, is
See,
there a
and
copy
The
that shows how
newspaper
much
can
it's
have
gonna
that
be on each?
available, of course, if they want to publish it. But that is the road that's approved by the state, and that's where the money will be spent.
my understanding was that this was just for the 2013 year, though, that this was not 2014 money. I mean, it's just 1 year's money. It's $507,000. That's just 1 year.
Balance of 13 and added it to 14 because we were in 14 already. We've still got 15's money coming up to the 299.
Got 299 further.
Okay, so we already know what 15's?
Correct.
2015.
14, 15 years.
Okay, all right, so I'm just a year.
It's only $2.99?
299.
299.
You can already start accessing it if you get a list of roads together and get down there and get it back.
We got to do the same thing on the 299
Correct.
that we've done on this. Yep.
Turn in the list, we send it to Frankfurt, they go back over it and send us.
The road commissioner, do you have any statement at all in regard to this?
No, I'm just glad they finally sent it back to us so they can make preparations to blacktop.
Good shape.
I don't think so. We voted on the resolution.
Is that not right, Frank? We have to wait till they execute it completely before we can start spending it, correct?
Yeah, well, usually, I mean, Rick Long said just as soon as we get this signed by the judge and we voted on today, you know, we can start, but now, right now, everybody knows that you're not able to get any blacktop from the plant right now because they're doing 460, and it's gonna be a little bit unless you go to Martin.
Frank, that's something I was gonna bring up today since you brought it up. Judge, didn't we have a contract with these people to supply the blacktop as we need it? And right now, they're closing down, what, for 3 or 4 weeks? We won't be able to get blacktop to pile patch with. And
Right. But now, I think you can get it at Martin.
Or and anytime
they're
you drive to
shipping
Martin and get it, it's set up. When you get back, you ain't able to get it down. You know.
Have any control of that, because what.
Well, you know, when these companies make these bids, they should be able to supply the needs that we have with the county, because we pay them a big amount of money for the blacktop, Judge, and you know, we're going to be a hurting this year on our pothole because we're not nearly halfway finished with it, and now they're closing down for 3 or 4 weeks, and that's gonna put you right into the fall season, so I don't know what we can do.
Our hands are kinda tied, 'cause they're the only ones got blacktop.
Well, we need to try to get them untied and check and see if Hank or somebody.
Yeah, you ain't got no competition for them to do we, Frankie?
Is
No other
it Old
statement?
Castle? Is that who has
Question.
our asphalt bid? Is it Old Castle, Newcastle? What's the? Mountain Enterprise, but I thought they had sold out to still called Mountain Enterprises.
Yeah.
Frankie, on their contract, have you ever reviewed it and looked at it and see? I know we've got to buy from them, but don't they supposed to be able to meet what we need?
The difference is those laws aren't applicable. Those cases are.
Yeah, we've been trying to blacktop some roads for, I mean, this week and last week, and they told us that it was closed down, that they were doing a big project someplace else, and they had a special mix of asphalt that, that we
From the
that we
press, I
couldn't
understand that they're
use.
keying on the new 460, is that correct?
So, doing that, they find out this deal.
460s.
If it's remedial, it's retroactive. Okay? This amendment is clearly, it doesn't correct any wrong.
Talking to the microphone because we are on Pike TV, so people can understand what you were talking about. Any more questions or anything in regard to the blacktop and the 507, 926 and the 299? I think the questions have been answered. If not, I need an update. If Terry Rogers is in here, or Mr. County Attorney, you may assist. You've talked to Terry and this perfection groups of what they've done since your contact to the perfection group and told them the feeling of this court that they was to take action immediately. Tell us if they've taken any action immediately.
Well, I can't tell you it was immediately, Judge, but they have finally taken action. We have two of the coils. Magistrate Dotson came through the basement on his way into the courthouse and passed them and has seen them now. So we know they're here, and Mr. Rogers, Terry Rogers tells me, Judge, that they are trying to schedule their people down here. They didn't know they were going to be here. We had been promised it would be the first week of August. They missed that, but they're here now. And so the first facility that Perfection will be working on will be the Phelps Courthouse, and then they'll move to the Intergenerational Center, and then over Magistrate Harris to the Belfry Courthouse. But we only have two of the coils, but that will take care of Phelps.
Two is here, and then they got two more to come in for the.
They're on the way, as I understand.
Okay.
Yes.
Ship. Any questions in regard to their schedule?
Just glad they're on their way.
On their way. Thank you, Mr. Dotson, for the updating, and the county attorney for updating us on that situation. Awarding of bids.
Judge, I got two bids to present to the court. First bid is bid number 33 for NRCS floodplain easement buyout restoration for tree planting and grass. Received two bids. The first bid from Pikewell Paving and Construction of Raccoon. Grass planting, $62,000. Tree planting, $37,500. Their total bid price was $99,510. Second bid was from York Smith Construction of Pikeville. The grass planting, $11,014.50. The tree planting, $49,999. Total bid price, $61,013.50. The lowest bid was still twice what NRCS allows to do that project with, so my recommendation would be to reject the bids and do the project in-house, and I think that we'll buy the trees and grass and put it in with inmate labor.
Motion to reject the bids and do the work in-house. Have a motion, have a second.
Second.
Have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson, Magistrate Murphy, Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dotson,
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes. Mr. Stacy.
The second bid is bid number 34 for 2014, operation and maintenance of 4 wastewater treatment plants. Received 1 bid from Wastewater Service and Supply of Varney. The yearly maintenance and operation cost, $23,400. Yearly sludge wasting cost, $2,400. And the year lab cost is $1,600 for a total bid price of $27,400. And that would be my recommendation to award it to Wastewater Service and Supply with the lowest evaluated bid price of $27,400.
You heard the recommendation.
Does that cover any,
I have a motion.
does the maintenance cover any, breakdowns or damage that's, I mean, not I guess wouldn't, outside damage it
If
wouldn't.
there's pieces, we would still have to buy parts. But it covers routine maintenance.
Frankie, what planes are those?
It's the one at Johns Creek Fire Department, the one at, hold on a second.
Hardy Park. I think there's one at Belfry Courthouse and Hardy Park. I know
There's one at Dorton Park, one at Hardy Park, one at Belfry Courthouse, and one at Johns Creek Fire Department.
Frank, that's the same issue that come up a year ago when we asked the court to look at trying to install these new fusion systems, which we done over at Ford Mountain, and I think it's worked out. We've not had any complaints on it. And I believe, what was it, $10,000 to $12,000 those systems cost. And, you know, we just keep servicing these old systems every year. And we could replace them with a system that will last for years and see some use of our money that we're spending on these, keeping these plants up. And I just, you know, looking out for the taxpayers' money, I think, you know, Judge, it would be wise for us to look in the future at maybe getting rid of these old plants and putting in some new systems that will take care of our problem.
This bid is for a yearly bid that would run through June of next year, and then it would be rebid again. So if you award this one today, because you're not going to have time to
We're
get the system.
going to have to do it today, but I'm talking about, you know, this,
Maybe
about
by
planning.
this was
next
brought
year.
up last year on looking at trying to do something different.
Right.
To get away from these old plants, and they're eyesores, and you know, one at Hardy Park, you go by and look at it. And
Talking about planning for the future. If no other questions, you heard the recommendation. What's your motion?
Well, I've got another question. Paul, have you looked at, with those fusion systems, would they work with the existing plants that we've got? I mean, could you replace the existing plants with a fusion system?
Hardy, we could probably put a conventional system in Hardy, you know, just to get the health department involved, see what we can do. Belfry would be tough, we're so deep in the ground, and the room wise that we would have to put a fusion system in. But Hardy was good, and I don't know about Dorton. It's all rock field up there at Dorton, and you get so much rock, and the health department won't let you put a lateral system in on rock.
Do the fusion systems, do they have to have leach beds? And
Yeah.
They do?
We got 2 12 by 60 leach beds over on Ford Mountain on that one.
Okay.
Any other questions?
It's working out pretty good, Paul. You had any problems with it?
No, it's working out good.
Can you remember about what it cost?
No, I don't remember exactly. You know, it was around $10,000, I believe. You know.
Yeah, I was thinking it was around 10 or 11, plus we had to buy the rock and do the labor to put the leach field in on that one at at the daycare.
By the time it's all said and done, maybe 15 or 16.
Yeah, something like that.
Buy everything to go with it.
Yeah, we need to plan for the future and talk to the health department and see what they would recommend and what they would approve. We got a motion and a second. If nothing else, we'll let Madam Clerk have a roll call vote.
We need a motion.
Need a motion and a second. Motion, Magistrate Robinson, have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Magistrate Roadwork. Motion, Magistrate Anderson. Have a second. Have a second. Magistrate Robinson. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Magistrate's comment. Magistrate Anderson.
I don't have any comments, Judge.
To talk about Chick Johnson. He'd been in the hospital in Huntington, and I understand he's back home. And Kenneth said he talked to him last night, and he's in good spirits, but can't get out yet. Yeah. In Iceland. Well, we wish him the best. Magistrate Murphy. Motion by Magistrate Robinson. We have a second. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Well,
Don't need one. Just pass it over, and Madam Clerk, make it a part of the record. Magistrate Robinson, pass that over to the clerk, make it part of the record, and Jeannie, would the clerk provide you with a copy of it, and you get a copy to Grundle Potter of the fire hydrants in the Greasy Creek area that is not operative. Magistrate Dodson.
Judge, we got a few items here. We got some special guests with us today. You know, last court meeting we had Trey Atkins was going to be present and ask us to name a crossing over the Elk Creek after a young lady that has passed, Jenny L. Rife, and their family is here. Her family is here today, and you know, I'd like to touch on that a little bit and make a motion that we name that crossing in her honor, Jenny L. Rife Crossing, and that was the wishes of Trey Atkins and the Virginia delegation of people. You know, we service probably about.
Master Dodson, Trey Atkins was here at the last meeting, and he gave me that recommendation to give to the court if he didn't make it back. And he said that Magistrate Hillman Dotson would be the one that would make the motion to name the road. Mr. County Attorney.
Judge, the family is here, and with Magistrate Dotson, I'm sure would like for them to just stand and be recognized if they would.
Larry, would y'all just stand?
Please stand up, please.
And, you know, it's an honor for me to be able to do this for Jenny. I knew her as a person, and she was a asset judge to the community. She was born with a disability, and she went on to finish college in a wheelchair. And, you know, that is something that we can look up to you guys for being able to make it available for her. And you know, we spent a lot of time together with Jenny, and I think, you know, it's a honor for me to be able to mention her name and do this for the family. And if y'all have anything you would like to say, you know, we would welcome you to.
If you do, come around to the podium over here on my right, please, if you have any statements you'd like to make.
Larry, you're a pastor, so you shouldn't be absent for words. You know, it's her dad, Larry Rife. He's a pastor over at the Baptist church over there. And Larry, if you want to say something.
Come around if you do. If not, we have a motion on the floor by Magistrate Dotson, and have a second. Have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
And Judge, I want to thank you and the court for doing that. And they have also brought a concern. You know, we've got the crossing in, and they said that the railroad is blocking the crossing for sometimes a half a day or more, and they're going to have to be able to go through the underpass, and they've got a gate up over there.
The county
And,
attorney.
you know, last meeting, we brought that up and discussed it. But it seemed like since the crossing has been installed, the railroad is making a habit of blocking it with their train, and they're not separating it. And then, you know, the people are having to go down through the tunnel, and they've got a gate up there.
Mr. County Attorney.
I'm not exactly sure who put the gate there, whether it was the railroad or who, but I've said it on more than one occasion. That is a county road. No one, not even the railroad, as powerful as they may think they are, can block a county road. That's illegal. And I have suggested that, Magistrate Dodson, that if you could, find out who put it there and tell them if they don't remove it, that you're going to remove it, and go right ahead and take it out of there.
Trey Atkins told me he was going to find out who put it there and have them take it down. They're not putting a lock on it, but the gate is there. And, you know, if something happened, they did have a lock on it and it had an emergency, they would have trouble getting out. But we will follow up when we get back and try to get up with Trey and find out when, if Frank can, when they're going to take it down, or what was the reasons. And also there was a problem with the bridge they put in. It's a culvert bridge, and it's not big enough to take care of the water flow, and they've got it directed right into a cliff on the outlet. And John, you know, that's what I talked about a couple of months ago, that we needed to follow up and find out what stipulations they have on that. And, you know, I don't think we had anything in writing that we had to sign off, because they were paying for all the materials and all the work that was being done. And I think it's probably finished up now, what the residents tell me, and all the equipment is gone.
Is that, I've not seen it, and that handicaps me a little bit about talking about it, is the culvert under the Pike County part of the road. Okay. I think that what I would suggest is that Jeannie Robinson set us up a meeting at a convenient time, maybe after the governor's issue conference in Louisville, and that we all sit down and talk about that culvert. And I'll be willing to go over there, Master Dawson, if you would suggest a convenient site for Trey Atkins and whoever else he thinks ought to be there, and see if we can't resolve that problem. Those folks have been pretty good to work with. It's been a slow process, and none of us wanted it to be that slow, but when you deal with the railroad, you never move fast, do you, Judge? And I'm glad it's done, and I'm sorry to hear that it's not been done properly, but we'll have to just meet and see what we can get done on that.
Buchanan County Attorney probably need to be present at that meeting.
Yes.
County Attorney and Trey Atkins. And
Judge, we've already had one flash flood that come in there and blocked it and then washed the culvert out. So, you know, we're the ones now that's going to be responsible for maintaining it, keeping it up. They've done the work and got paid well for it, and they're gone. Okay. So we should have had some sign off or something to release them from working on the road, or give them responsibilities for taking care of it. You know, that
was an unusual situation where the legislature of one state appropriated money to be spent in another state. So to begin with, it's very unusual, and that's how it ended up that way, I guess.
Judge, I've got another question. Frank, have we found out about the little road up on Dry Branch where they had to slide and the bus is not going up on the hill there? Randy, my road foreman, was telling me that him and you have been talking, and the slide that the NRS paid to have.
Yeah, I talked to Troy. Well, Randy called me, I think Tuesday last week, and I called Troy, and he's supposed to get up with Randy and me and go up there and look at it. I explained to him it was one that Kevin Prater did. We had a problem, but I'll call Troy as soon as court meeting, find out if he's looked at it. But I called him just as soon as Randy called me the other day, and I got a hold of Troy. He was in the western part of the state. He said he would personally or send somebody up there to see what it was.
I appreciate it, Frank. I think we've got buses not running in that area right now. Is that right?
I think so.
And did you find out anything on Zion Bridge yet?
No. Me and Charles, I talked to Doug about me and Charles gonna go over there and just put it on the map showing Zion Road both ways there at Zion Lane and send it to Frankfurt. You know, me and Rose and have sent everything to them, but it don't seem like it's getting done. So we're just gonna have to present it that way to them. I talked to Rick Long about it.
I know Rick told me everything been approved. That all they needed was proof that this road name see, it used to be Pinson
Right.
Lane, and then when 911 went through, I guess they named it Zion Drive, and that is the problem with the identification on it.
Yeah, well, the
the
railroad
road
took the crossing out.
Railroad took the crossing out, and they had to build a bridge. But appreciate if you could follow up on that and get that lined out. And Judge, I want to thank Jeff Justice over at the maintenance garage. He was able to find a couple dump trucks for us, and while you were gone, we were able to have a meeting and get the money approved to purchase those trucks. And he's got them back over to the garage now, and he said they're awful fine trucks, and that'll save us a lot of money from having to buy new ones. But the last thing I want to bring up is some good news if things can work out. After our school closed at Majestic, you know, we talked about that in the last court meeting. We had people from the Phelps Nursing Home, representatives from Louisville, come in and look at the school this past week. And talking with this guy, they own the nursing facility over here at Cedar Creek, the assisted living, and they own the Phelps Nursing Home.
Presbyterian nonprofit, Jimmy,
Yeah.
is that the name of it?
And they wanted to talk with you and some people in the school board. They're very much interested in turning that school into an assisted living, and they said they could put 50 to 60 people to work.
So that's a great need.
So, you know, that's what we thrive for and try to get the county to be
Great
able.
need for the patients, but it's a great need for the jobs also.
Yeah. So, you know, the problem they have, the school will probably go up for a sealed bid. And, you know, the guy told me that he didn't know if they would be able to buy it and then do the renovation and open it up with what money they have to work with. And he was wondering if the state, the SOAR, or somebody would have some kind of incentive out there to help them get started, you know, he said, we can put the people to work, but we've got to get the building and get it in use. So I told him I'd bring it up to you, and I know you and
Come
the
to
governor.
get in touch with us, and we'll proceed from there.
Maybe you set a meeting up with somebody, and, you know, that's a lot of jobs if we can
Be
get.
glad to.
And that's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
Magistrate Harris, and I don't want you to forget about the opening of the Circuit Court Clerk's office. I thought me and you and the Circuit Court Clerk and the fine job that Mr. Williamson and his group did, and I'll turn it over to you. I just wondered, probably didn't have to remind you, but it's very impressed.
Absolutely, Judge. It was a much-needed improvement. The clerk's office there for driver's license has been in the closet for, for decades there at the Belfry Courthouse. And we started talking about finding a place for them to go, a bigger office space. And we had the spot in the lobby of the Belfry Courthouse that wasn't being used. We didn't have an employee out there in the lobby. So what we did is enclosed, Paul and his crew did a great job enclosing that greeting area there in the lobby of the courthouse, and has made a much more convenient place for people to get their driver's license. And the clerk, Anna Pinson, says that that's the most used, outside of Pikeville, the most used office that she's got around the county, and people are just in and out of there all day when they're open. They're just open Tuesdays and maybe a couple Saturdays a month. But it's very well used. It's a nice facility now, and it's more convenient for the public. And I want to thank Paul and his crew. They did a great job. And I left one. I thanked everybody except Mr. Justice. He helped on the building, the construction of that room as well. So your whole crew did a great job, and we appreciate all the work that went into that.
I gave a little bit of history of that. We had to get a act passed, Bobby, by state legislature. And that statute says that a county over 750,000 square miles can have branch courthouses that can offer services from the county offices and the state offices. So that was passed, signed into law by the governor, and simply the fact that Pike County is the largest county in the Commonwealth. So now, as Magistrate Harris said, the circuit court clerk was back in the corner in the room that some of the closets in the courthouse here are larger than that room. But what a change that they have, and I concur with what the magistrate said. It was busy while we was over there that day, people standing in line.
Absolutely, and the county clerk's office is also well used there for driver's license. I mean, it's just a busy place there in the lobby of the courthouse. So it's much needed and much used facility, and it keeps people from driving all the way. I mean, it's a 30-minute drive now. It used to be probably over an hour to get to the Pikeville courthouse to do their business, and this gives them a level of convenience that they wouldn't otherwise have.
From where these pictures are, right over from it, within, I'd say, 25 to 30 feet, is the county court clerk's office that the magistrate referred to. So you got both of them right out front where most of the people come in to conduct their business at the courthouse for, which have made it a whole lot better for the general public.
Yep.
Mr. Harris.
Yes, and I wanted to say it's good to see my buddy and Jerry. They're always here at the meetings. Good to see you guys, and we've got a new attendee from over in District 5, Robert Mapes. Glad to see you here today, Mr. Mapes. Enjoying watching your county government at work. It's a friend of mine. I'm glad we've been trying to get him to come over for several months, and glad to see he finally made it. And also, Judge, it's my pleasure to introduce our magistrate-elect, Bobby Varney, who is here watching the proceedings and getting his feet on the ground. And I understand he's been out visiting with people and ready to hit the ground running in January. So, Bobby, it's nice to have you here at the meeting as well.
Harris, I might inject that.
Yeah, and he is playing a star role in the Blood Song, the story of the Hatfield-McCoy feud on Blackberry. So if anybody hasn't been over to see the play yet, it's a fantastic play, some great acting, great writing, great directing, and in a really nice facility on Blackberry. Well, I always claim that it belonged to me. It's not in my district, but I always take credit for it. But it will be after January in my district, so I'm still proud of it. But anyway, if you haven't been over to see the play on Blackberry, which is in Hillman Dotson's district, you should definitely make it a priority to get over and see that. It's generally on the weekends in the evenings, and there's the show times there. It's just a fantastic play and a good opportunity to promote the history of our region. Judge, the only other thing that I have is a invoice here from Little West Tree Service. We bid that out and awarded the bid to Little West Tree Service to cut down 6 trees, remove the limbs, and that's been done. Paul, to your satisfaction, is that accurate?
Yeah, he done what he said he'd do. You know?
Okay, so I'd like to submit that bill for payment today, if that's okay. It's an amount of $1,800.
Record, pass it to the treasurer, please.
That's all I have, Judge.
Magistrate-elect Varney, you will understand later how important it is to have good corporate sponsors. The company that you was with was a good corporate sponsor. We appreciate so much you working with us and Magistrate Dotson, and we have one of the finest county garages that you have anywhere in the country over in District 5, simply because of your understanding at that time that these mining corporations should give something back. And certainly, we appreciate that. We appreciate you being over there that day for the opening of that, and certainly, and we commend you again for talking to those people above you in regard to getting them to understand the need that we have in a county as large as Pike County. But glad to have you. Only other thing, we had Shelby Valley Habitat. I think that you had Dan, you had the pictures of the one just completed. Well, how many units was it? 2? They're now septic applications, so that telephone number is 606-437-4011, and they're having what they call sweat equity. If anybody needs a home built and they can have control of the property, or they can get control of the property, and that the family is willing to help build it, then they need to get and fill the application out. And it is unbelievable what the Habitat does, not only in this county, but around Kentucky and around the country. So it's a great opportunity for the people in this area now to remember that number. And if you want a roof over your head that belongs to you, and you are willing to put what they call sweat equity and assist in the group that volunteers to build the housing. They meet the code. They usually run around 1,300 square feet, Bobby, or 1,400 when they got it upstairs in them. And so that's something to give people a decent residence and a roof over their head. And of course, the Magistrate Harris has talked about the blood song, which I think you had on the monitor and you brought it up, of the dates on that. So, and what an opportunity that is for us to people to see the real story. We know that the television drama was about 80% correct and 20% was show business. So you can get the correct story on the Hatfield-McCoy feud at the Hatfield-McCoy Theater at McCarr. Madam Treasurer.
Authorize any necessary transfers and inter-fund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
I have a motion, Magistrate Robbins, second Magistrate Murphy. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson? Yes. Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Yes. Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Mr. County Attorney, I think we have a second reading, Madam Treasurer, of the budget amendment.
This is second reading, Pike County Fiscal Court Budget Amendment Number 2, an ordinance relating, and I'll do this in summary form, an ordinance relating to the fiscal year 2014-2015 annual budget and amendment thereof, whereas the Pike County Fiscal Court has realized unbudgeted receipts from the following funds, be it ordained by the Pike County Fiscal Court, the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 1 reflects revenues from the general fund and the road fund in total sum of $402,900, and appropriations from those funds in the same amount. That is a second reading, require a motion, second, and majority vote.
Need a motion. Have a motion, Magistrate Anderson. Have a second, Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Madam Treasurer.
I have a budget amendment number 2 for first reading.
This is a Pike County Fiscal Court budget amendment, first reading, an ordinance relating to the fiscal year 2014-2015 annual budget and amendment thereof. Whereas the Pike County Fiscal Court has realized unbudgeted receipts from the following funds, be it ordained by the Pike County Fiscal Court of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 1, the budget for fiscal year 2014-2015 is amended to increase/decrease the receipts of the general road LGEA, maintenance, garage, LGEDF, forestry, and jail funds by receipts of $1,516,738.86, and to reflect.
Assistant County Attorney, that's the one you just did, wasn't it?
I'm sorry.
There's a one-page one. It's 402,900. It's just for grants.
Here it is.
I had laid it out there for you.
Oh, okay. This is budget amendment number 2 then.
Correct.
Okay. And that's the one I just read.
I just said $1 million something. Oh, you flipped
The first one I did was budget amendment number 2, and called that a second reading.
No, this should be the first reading for this.
First reading. All right,
Budget
let the
amendment
record
number 2.
reflect that budget amendment number 2 was a first reading, and again, in summary form, it reflects receipts from the general and road fund of $402,900 and appropriations of the same amount, $402,900, from those funds, and that is a first reading.
Yes.
Thank you.
We don't need anything.
Madam Clerk, do you have all this right now as we've corrected
Madam
ourselves?
Treasurer, she got it, she understood it.
All right, now we've got a second reading of what I just did, which is budget amendment number 1. Thank you. And Judge, so the record is clear, I'll go back through that in summary form. This is a budget amendment amending the Section 1, the budget for fiscal year 2014-2015, to increase/decrease the receipts of the general road, LGEA, maintenance, garage, LGEDF, forestry, and jail funds by receipts of $1,516,738.86, and Judge, appropriations in the same amount, amended appropriations in the amount of $1,516,738.86. That is a first reading. Second reading, I'm sorry, boy, I don't know which reading I'm reading today. It's the second reading will require a motion, a second, and a majority
We have a
vote.
motion by Magistrate Anderson, we have a second, Magistrate Murphy. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote, please.
John, we adopted that one. It's okay. The second reading was already done.
This is the first reading of the second amendment, right?
First reading, you don't have to have a vote. The
Right.
second reading and adoption, you have to have a vote
I think
on.
this is the first reading of the second amendment. I believe is what it is.
He read the first one.
I know.
I thought we already voted on that.
Okay. If you voted on it, that's fine then.
Yeah.
On the second reading.
Madam Treasurer. right ahead.
Let's make sure this record is clear. Madam Clerk, I had a second reading of amendment number 2.
Right.
And we've had a motion, a second, and a majority vote.
And a vote.
Okay.
All right. And I just read the first reading of amendment number 1, and we'll take the second reading up at the next meeting. Thank you.
Madam Treasurer.
I withdraw my motion.
Authorize payment of the expenditure approval list dated August 18th, 2014, and any other utility and telephone bills that are received before the checks are run at the end of the week. Plus, we need to add the Little West Tree Service in the amount of $1,800.
I have a motion. Magistrate Robinson, we have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Abstain.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Authorize the following checks when they're received. The Pike County Fiscal Court, Pikeville Senior Citizens Center passed through House Bill number 265 in the amount of $50,000, project ID number 680, when the funds are received. And to the Pike County Fiscal Court / Sycamore Fire Department, passed through House Bill number 265, project ID number 662, in the amount of $50,000. On this one, we've already received $25,000, so this is on the expenditure approval list to pass through to Sycamore Fire Department at this time, and authorization that when the other 25 is received to pass it on at that time.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion. Motion by Magistrate Roberts, second by Magistrate Murphy. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
I have two other items under additional treasurer's business. The first being the fiscal court clerk asked me to have you all acknowledge receipt of the Pike County Health Board establishing the public health tax rate for the year of 2014 for Pike County, which is set at 6 per hundred of assessed value of all real, 6 of the assessed value of all personal property, and 6 cents per hundred of the assessed of all motor vehicles in Pike County as of 2014. The motor vehicle tax rate will be applied to calendar year beginning January 1, 2015.
A motion to acknowledge the receipt thereof. Have a motion. Have a motion, second by Magistrate Murphy. Roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
And
Madam Treasurer.
we received from the Commonwealth of Kentucky the motor vehicle and watercraft property tax rate for 2015. The rate 14 cents per hundred of assessed value, which has been set at for previous years all along. This would affect the 2015 year. This is a vote first and a second. A motion and a second on this one is needed for the Pike County Fiscal Court.
Is that to acknowledge the acceptance and acknowledge we've received the rate? Is that all it is?
No,
Madam?
you have to have a first reading. You have to have a motion and a vote on this one for motor vehicle and watercraft at 14 cents per hundred, as it has been in previous years.
At the first reading?
No.
No.
Is it acknowledgement or is it just acceptance?
This is the fiscal court.
And it's
so
the
we have to do it.
same rate as it was last year?
Correct.
Okay.
Does any magistrate have any question in regard to it? It's the same rate it was last year. Have a motion.
Motion.
Have a motion. Have a second. Have a second, Magistrate Anderson. Motion by Magistrate Harris. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
I have no further business, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. County Attorney, did you get everything in a while ago when you had the open mic from the County Attorney's report?
I did, Judge.
Okay. We'll go into closed session for
Make a
discussion.
motion pursuant to KRS 61-810G and F to move into executive session to discuss specific personnel matters and discussions between a public agency and a representative of a business entity.
We have a motion. We have a second. Have a second, Magistrate Anderson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson. Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
We're now in the open session, and Judge Pruitt, you have some recommendations from the personnel office in regard to, I think you got 3 on there today, 4 maybe.
Yes, sir. Position and location, loader solid waste lot number 2 at Belcher, 2H rate of pay. Galen Blackburn, full-time, and John Thompson Jr. applied. Galen Chris Blackburn was selected. Ask approval of the layoff of Danetta Barker effective August 15, 2014. Approval of rate of pay for Daniel Thacker, administrative assistant, moving from 2A to 3A. Money's in the budget for that. Approval of rate of pay for Brenda Hayes, a temporary administrative assistant with no benefits in Judge Rutherford's office at a rate of pay of 2A, effective August 18, 2014. Money's in the budget.
That's my recommendation and my motion to have a second. Have a second? Second from Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson.
I think I
Magistrate
did.
Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. I have a motion to propose to the court, and I want to briefly just say that to comply with the Kentucky Revised Statutes, that under the Kentucky law, this is a economic development incentive of $400,000, and I'll read the motion, for jobs. Under the Kentucky law, we cannot, until the Kentucky Economic Development Finance Authority has acted on an $18 million tax incentive, and that will happen on August the 28th. The motion is, at this time, I move the court to approve economic development incentives up to $400,000 from economic development funds approved by Department of Local Government, Tony Wilder, Commissioner. And we have that in writing from the Commissioner. To encourage a confidential, there are 14 confidential agreements on this one project, to locate in Pike County, Kentucky, and authorize the Pike County Judge Executive to execute all necessary documents. The name of this project shall remain confidential as set forth by the Kentucky Revised Statutes until such time as the Kentucky Economic Development Finance Authority, KEFTA, has had an opportunity to act on the $18 million tax incentive relative to this confidential project on August 28, 2014. That is my motion. Do I have a second? I need a second.
Judge, I guess everybody's afraid to make that second, but I'm gonna make it, but I want you to explain where the money's coming from so they'll know that it's not coming out of
Correct.
our budget.
Correct. Yes, indeed.
So if you do that, I'll second your motion.
This money does not come out of the county budget. It is money that has accumulated and under control of the Department of Local Government. We have a letter in the file. If anybody wants to copy the letter, they can have a copy of it. But it does not come out of the regular county budget.
Judge, if I may.
Go right ahead, Mr. County Attorney.
Thank you. It really does come out of the county budget. However, it comes out of a fund within the budget that is set aside solely for economic development. It can't be used for anything other than economic development, no matter what the court would want to do. And that's why the Department of Local Government, Commissioner Tony Wilder, who you mentioned, had to give prior approval for this court to take the action it does. So these are funds that have been accruing from what we call recaptured money. And I believe, Madam Treasurer, that comes from the Coca-Cola facility down at in Jeff's district, and those funds are accruing. I think there may be something over $500,000 in there at the present time. And I believe it's projected that by the end of the year, had we not taken this out, that there would have been around 700, 750. Is that right, Jonda?
No, it'd be a little over $6,000. They pay us $12,477.50 a month.
Okay.
And in November, that will go down to $9,000 and something on the second 10 years of their lease.
Okay, so Judge, you were correct. I think your thinking was correct. It's just it needs to be stated that this is not what we would normally think of general fund revenues available to the court to use for anything else.
Can't use it for anything except industrial development to build.
Economic development is the criteria. For example, you mentioned a project earlier, Magistrate Dodson. There may be that's a potential source of funds for that project, for example. But it could not be used for any other project other than economic development and subject to the approval of the Department of Local Government in Frankfort. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. County Attorney. We have a motion second. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Yes. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Now it's time for if any commissioner or director have anything that they need to take up with us as a body, or any of you, starting with Carl, going across. Any of you, any announcements? If not, motion to adjourn. Have a motion, a second. Have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Magistrate Anderson, Murphy, Robinson, Dotson, Harrison, Ruth.